Hi, welcome to the Pole Shift News, the home of the maverickstar observatory. Guys, we're in a lot of trouble. We really are in a lot of trouble. I'm going to get to that in a little while. I just want to say a big thank you to the few people over the last 5 or so days that have been helping contribute towards some of the work that goes on here at the maverickstar observatory. If you're new to the channel, we actually don't do too much talking. We do a bit of talking, to be fair, but we don't just do a talk on current affairs with regards to the anomalies that are taking place. Usually it is focused on the one major anomaly, and that's the magnetic pole reversal that's taking place, and it's a real rare event, and you've only got to really look at some of the videos that we've put up on YouTube and have a look at some of the information that we've got on the website to see how much of a problem the pole shift poses for the whole of humanity. So guys, once again, a big thanks to those few people that are supporting the research that's going on this channel. Over the last few days, I've still waiting for a few components to come in for a little bit of progression on the cloud chamber. We have had the the array of fans and the radiator that bolts to. We've got a couple of pipe fittings. We're still waiting for the piping and the pumps to come in on that. Hopefully it should be able to cycle around 600 litres of water a minute, and let's hope that that keeps the the array of 6 peltiers cool enough to get it down to at least minus 50 degrees. So I wanted to just get into this video that someone had benchmarked on the last video that I done as urgent, and I think it is. I think it's stark what's going on, because it doesn't really matter what continent you live on these days. We are getting some major confliction as to what is actually taking place with our Earth, and according to this report that is backed up by some scientific research, goes against everything what is coming out of the United States right now from the NASA Goddard Space Institution with regards to man-made carbon caused climate chaos. And we have now this Australian senator, I believe, coming out and saying that it's all fabricated lies, and generally exposing all that paperwork that's been produced by the American Space Organization. I'm not really too concerned anymore about what these organizations submit. I think we've all gathered what's going on with regards to these organizations. We've got one too many people who work for these organizations that do not care about scientists or scientist work and the climate of this planet, and as a result of that, it is little channels like ours, a small observatory like ours, that really shines a beacon of light in this modern world. And guys, just think about this. NASA are on something like 40 to 50 million pound a day is what they consume in revenues, and that is funded by the taxpayer. And look at what we're having being produced by NASA. It's not just NASA, guys, it is the European Space Agency. I was having a little talk with Andy, a friend of ours. He's got a channel, Andology, and we was discussing just the Swarm mission this morning with regards to how much information those satellites are actually generating. We started to compile a few facts, like Andy done a bit of digging up, and he said it's on an orbit of around about every hour or so. It passes one orbit of the Earth at 18,000 miles an hour, so it's tearing around the Earth, taking measurements as it goes. But I just said to him, what resolution do you think it's recording the data? And we both come up with the conclusion that it can't be that quick, because we think it's probably along the lines of the way satellites compose their radar images and their satellite images. So it'd probably be at a slow frame rate. So our magnetometer compared to the Swarm mission satellites is is not only having to wait, you know, every 30 minutes before it comes back into our line of sight before it can download its data, you know, that our magnetometer array, you know, the TriMag system, is you know, taking samples of the magnetic North Pole and all its activity that's going on there at a resolution of every 3 seconds, and, you know, recording it onto the SD card. We can pull that SD card at any point we want, guys, and that's the resolution that, you know, one guy has managed to do with very, very, very little budget. And in comparison, you know, you put any one person up in NASA against someone like us or me, and they're not going to be able to be at the same competitive level. You know, they will not be able to design the electronics that they want to build. They probably have an idea of what they want, but when it comes down to it, it's not going to be the one person that sees it from the beginning of the development stage all the way through to the end like it is here. You know, I've had to teach myself programming electronics. I've had to learn a lot about the electronics and the components that get put together. And as a result of, you know, over, you know, a decade now, 7 of those years on YouTube, you know, working on this anomaly, the magnetic reversal, you know, it has led to, you know, a good all-rounder. And as a result, you know, we can get away with, you know, those budgets that NASA have. The thing is that I think it's sad that there is no coming together and, you know, there's an agreement on what is actually taking place. It seems to be that the clear direction seems to be coming from what is now claimed citizen scientists. I don't particularly like the term citizen scientist because, you know, I am a qualified scientist, but I don't mind this new terminology that's coming about because I think it's more honest. You know, there are more people out there taking the initiative to find out exactly what is going on with our planet. And, you know, despite what has been said, all is I will say this, is that we have put the data together for you to make your own analysis of that. You know, we have given you our opinion on what we see, and, you know, we allow you to give, you know, to come to the conclusion that you will based on the data that we get. And, you know, we say that we're not supported by any organisation, we're completely crowd-funded, and, you know, there is no reason for us to manipulate the data to, you know, set an agenda such as, you know, climate caused by man adding CO2 to the atmosphere, because we've seen the clarity now of that data, and we see that CO2 is still rising, yet temperatures are gradually falling on this planet. And that is most likely down to the fact that we are in a grand solar minimum, and you can check the data for yourselves. You know, for the last 33 years there is 3 solar cycles there, solar cycle 22, 23 and 24. It's not clear whether we're in solar cycle 25 yet, but, you know, only time will tell when we start to see more sunspots. But as a result of the continued low solar output over those 3 solar cycles, we are having more cosmic radiation inbound to our solar system, first off, and secondly, as a result of a magnetic pole shift taking place on this planet, which is a rare event. Even if it is an excursion, you know, we are still talking 12 to 14,000 years for excursions, and the last full completed magnetic reversal was 780,000 years ago. But regardless of whichever it is, you know, we are still having an increase in cosmic radiation. And as you guys know, cosmic radiation creates more water in the atmosphere, slows down the jet streams, and as a result deposits flash floods like we're seeing over in the US and in other countries around this world. Adding to this, guys, you know, cosmic radiation also has now been found to cause cardiac arrhythmic problems in ourselves and other animal life forms, as well as you know, being carcinogenic also to any microcellular organism on this planet. So if we do have an increase in cosmic radiation, then it is only going to increase the risk that we put ourselves in at this position in time. And it is set to get worse, guys, because we have not yet reached equilibrium with regards to any part of this reversal, be it an excursion or a completed reversal. we haven't got to the point at which we are at the middle yet. And that, what I mean by that is, you know, if it took 100 years for it to weaken to this point, and in the last 20 years it's really started to affect our climate, then we have still yet some to go before we get to the point of where it reverses. And judging on the information that we've managed to gather as a small observatory here, we put it about 4 to 7 years away. It's around about that time where we should start to see the magnetic pole migrate a total of 40 degrees, and at that point the poles will be in their weak field lines, and there will be a transition of the poles at that point, or, you know, a further weakening of the magnetosphere at least. And it is only at that point that we will be at equilibrium, so we could be looking at least another 30 years before we go back into, you know, a standardized climate system again, where another 70 years after that point it will gradually get back to normal. But there are still some questions to be asked, because we are also facing other anomalies that are overdue, such as a return to the glaciation period. The last one was 12,000 years ago, and from my understanding we also had a magnetic excursion around about that time, 12,000 years ago. So we could be looking at possibly a return to a glacial period, and if that is the case, it won't be like an ice age or a mini ice age where they last from 40 to 60 years. We could be looking for more along the lines of thousands of years, and if that is the case, then there is serious threat to mankind on this planet as a result of that. So we face many threats as a result of two major components taking place simultaneously. First, a grand solar minimum, a low output of sun activity over the last 3 solar cycles. And some of these organisations would argue right now that we are in a solar minimum because we're at the trough of a solar cycle, which is a period of time where solar activity is generally low. But my argument would be, if that was ever mentioned to myself, well, okay, would you compare the fact that over the last 3 solar cycles there has been a consecutive decline in sunspot numbers, and there is evidence even on our website to prove that fact. So something is changing with our sun, our solar system, and in turn our planet as a result of that. And we have now got to face a lot of different anomalies, and it's part of our job here on the Maverickstar Observatory, first of all, to relay the information with regards to the magnetic pole reversal to you guys firsthand when we get it. And we are in the process of even building now a Mark II magnetometer to go out into different locations, one with GPS, Wi-Fi, temperature barometric pressure, backup batteries, its own power supply. And we're even looking at radiation detectors that can detect cosmic radiations, muons and those sorts of things as well. So, but the nice thing about these boxes, the Mark II magnetometers, although they are a lot more than a magnetometer, is that they will be self-sufficient, self-calibrating. And I don't know as to how far off of time frame it will be before we can get an actual one of these models working, but they will communicate with people's routers in the house, and there'll be no human input. And even if there's a problem, you know, we'll know about it, and we'll be able to notify that person that's got one of our magnetometers that there is an actual problem with the magnetometer, because we'll be monitoring it all from, you know, one website where the data gets fed in live from these magnetometers, archived. So if you want to go back over a period of time and look at any of the things that we've mentioned, like, you know, we do think that it is well worth putting a radiation detector on these new magnetometers to, you know, keep an eye on the cosmic radiation, whether it's on an increase or not. And not only that, guys, we're also building now this cloud generator, which gives you a visualization of any increase that we should be getting, as well as give you a good idea as to what actual cosmic radiation looks like, or cosmic particles, or cosmic rays, whichever you want to call it. So that's where we are, guys. You know, I'll leave the link for this video if you want to watch it, but you know, you just do not know where to go with these major organisations anymore for the truth, because now we really are getting confused with what one organisation's coming out from the next. So I'll leave you with a link in the comment section, and I'll pin it so that you guys can see it. And I just want to say one more thank you to all of those people over the last 5 days that have put some support in for this observatory to keep us doing what we're doing. I'm massively grateful for everyone's effort, and as long as I keep getting support, then I'll keep doing what I do best, and that is making improvements here at the observatory, collecting the data and any relevant information with regards to these anomalies that are changing the face of our world. Because for sure, guys, we have got some big threats, and even some that these organisations right here in front of us on this video that you'll probably watch a bit later on don't even realise, surprisingly. So I'll leave you with it, guys. As always, there's a link down there if you want to support us on Patreon, you can, and there's also a PayPal link if you want to make a one-off payment, or a bit of support, donation of any sorts. It's not compulsory, remember that. So I'll say what I usually do, guys. You have a great week, and I'll catch up with you over the next few days, hopefully with a a video showing you how we're getting on with the cloud generator. As always, bye for now.